The Balloon Fiesta serigraph poster has been a popular collector's item since it released in 1979, and there is a rich history behind it. We were able to sit down with the Balloon Fiesta's merchandise director, Lisa Mulder, to get some insight on the history and future of these posters.
So I wasn't here when they started it back in '79. We actually had a different company that would contract those out. A company was named Procreations, and they went out and they found the artist. And then we decided in 2006 it was time for Balloon Fiesta to take over. So Balloon Fiesta took over, we found the artist in 2006. At that time, it was basically, we thought we needed to match the art to the digital art that we had for brochures and that type of thing. And then what we ended up was we turned it around to reaching out to local artists and trying to get them on board. We've had some great, amazing artists over the years. And then, like you said, we've done some contests where we've reached out to artists and had them all submit. 2 years ago, we actually had, I guess it was last year, we actually had over 70 submissions from local artists. That was very difficult for us to choose. And then this year, we switched it up a little bit. So what we did this year is we actually have a poster committee that is comprised of some board members and some staff members. Merchandise team is on there, of course. And then what we do is this year, each member on the committee chose an artist. Either that they knew or had reached out to them. We reached out to those artists that were brought to the table and asked them if they wanted to do a concept to be considered for the Balloon Fiesta official poster artist for the year. We had 3 that accepted. Those 3 turned in concepts, and then the committee got together and then voted on the one that they liked the best and felt that was a good fit for Balloon Fiesta. Perfect. And that's how we ended up with the one for this year. It's actually been tremendous for that artist. As a nonprofit, Balloon Fiesta doesn't have a whole lot of backing to be able to put into it, but we always support our artists, and we always get the word out, we get their bios out there. And in the past, some of those artists that we've used are now contract only. They are so busy that they can't just paint for fun anymore. They're actually doing contract work. And they love it. I mean, just the notoriety that they gain from being a Balloon Fiesta poster artist just can't be matched. That was something my counterpart and I talked about. It was just something to bring some more fun into the whole concept of the poster. And like I said, we brought it in-house in 2006, so how can we make it more of Balloon Fiesta? And it's like, hey, you know, Roadrunner, let's go ahead and just have the artists hide it in there. And it's really interesting. I think it's kind of fun for them to be a part of that, and it just brings out a little bit of extra creativity on their side, is how can they do that? We have some that hide them, some that really didn't hide them, but that's okay. It's still in there. And then going back to the history, our first couple of posters that we actually had through Balloon Fiesta, one is actually Wile Coyote, and then the other one is the Roadrunner on these crazy bright orange and pink backgrounds, and then that was the character, and it just represented Balloon Fiesta at the time. So we reached out to Chuck Jones Gallery, the owner and one of the people that collaborate with them is Chuck Jones' grandson, Craig, and we said, hey, we want to do this great collaboration. It was easier for us to actually have a contract in place leading up to the 50th, because it is somewhat difficult to find artists that are willing to do this this poster, and we just had a lot of fun with it. It was like, let's find an artist. So even they gave us some concept art from 3 or 4 different artists, and then we chose the one that we liked the best, and that was Daniel Killen, and then we stuck with him. It was supposed to be for 4 years, but with COVID, we had already done the poster for that year, and of course we postponed the Balloon Fiesta, so we still wanted going through the 50th, and that's how we ended up with 5. Probably not a multiple theme, at least not in those talks. We have started talking with Chuck Jones Gallery about doing some other fun pieces for Balloon Fiesta, not on the official poster side, but because people love it.
Yeah.
They love the collaboration. Their artists are absolutely amazing, and there's fun characters. And Chuck Jones actually drew a lot of art in his history that already included hot air balloons. Potentially, it's one of those fine lines. Do we actually bring out another poster?
Gotcha.
Because I really don't want to take away from the official poster artist and everything that stands for. We did try after Mark was unable to get back into the U.S. after 9/11.
Oh.
And that's really what stopped the series, which was too bad.
Yeah.
We did bring in another artist who did one for us a couple of years following that. It was a pencil sketch, and it was all special shapes. And unfortunately, it really didn't sell very well.
Oh.
And I don't know if it was just because it wasn't in Mark's style or it was just something different for us. So at that point, it was a good test, and so we just kind of backed
Moved
off.
on
And
from there.
yeah, just let Mark's beautiful work stand as it is. It's still up in the air right now.
Okay.
I think because this selection process worked so well for us this year, the committee will probably do the same thing. I have had some local artists already reach out to me, and I said I'd be willing, myself and my other manager, Shawnee, to actually look at some of their art and say, hey, I need somebody that's going to represent merchandise to bring to the table. And so we'll see how that turns out and follow it. It was a little bit. I think, Jake did an amazing job last year, digital artist. What he created was not AI. We saw the process. He's young, his parents were there. I feel like the controversy just got a little out of control. And so we wanted to assure the local artists that we did our due diligence. And so this year, that's kind of why we brought one to the table each instead of getting this huge pool of people, because there were some that were in there that were very much AI.
Okay.
And for what Balloon Fiesta stands for and being a family event and an international event, we really want it to be something that is hand created. It can be digital. That's not the issue, but it's so hard nowadays to actually decide what's AI and what isn't. So by doing this and bringing in actual works of art as a concept in front of us, we knew there was no question. My favorite one actually is the 50th. And I think that's because I love Looney Tunes. I grew up with Looney Tunes, working with Daniel, and just the fun story that poster shows. It just, I don't know, it just makes me happy. It makes me smile.
For all things Balloon Fiesta, visit krqe.com. Davis Pope, KRQE News 13.